MGTOW is detrimental to a man's sense of purpose and meaning in life. But at the same time, it can be used as a tool, probably the most effective tool, to build purpose and meaning into your life. So MGTOW stands for men going their own way, and it's a lifestyle where men stop pursuing long-term relationships with women in favor of pursuing their own hobbies and interests. So the first thing to consider with MGTOW is what you're going to use it for. And if you're just using it to escape and you're using it as an excuse to abdicate yourself from responsibility, then you're making a huge mistake, and you're going to get behind in life, and it's going to turn into a disadvantage rather than an asset for yourself. What you want to do with MGTOW is use it as a purposeful chunk of time that you're going to accomplish some serious goals with and build yourself into a man that is capable of supporting and protecting and providing for a family. Now, most men need family in order to achieve purpose and meaning, and some people will say, oh, you're generalizing, and that's not every man. And you're right, it's not every man, but it's virtually every man. It's practically every man. It's certainly you watching this video. The only real purpose and meaning in life that you're going to truly derive is from having your own family and providing for them as they move forward with their lives. That's it. If you have the idea that your career is going to somehow fulfill you, or chasing a bunch of different women is going to somehow fulfill you, you are mistaken. But that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to help you understand that MGTOW as a tool, it is an excellent tool to help you catch up to where you should have been when you were 18. Most men in Western society, their parents have failed them, and you can argue why that's happened, but the simple fact is that most men are woefully unprepared for life when they get to be 18, and they're not ready. And so MGTOW is our tool to fix that, if that's our opportunity. And so what we want to do with this time is enter it with a very specific set of goals that we're going to accomplish, and then figure out a list of steps that we're going to use to accomplish those goals. So first, there are two classes of goals that you want to work towards. One, you want to define your personal identity, and two, you want to get your personal finances in order so that you can actually support a family. So the first one, about personal identity, you need to go through and re-examine with a microscope every moral and every ethic and every personal value that you hold dear, that you use to define who you are, and really consider the nature of those things. Who are you really? What would you be willing to stand for to the death?
Who are you really? What would you be willing to stand for to the death?
And this is going to be an iterative process. You can liken it to forging a blade forge. That's what we're going to do with our personal identity until we're the man that we want to be. Okay, at the end of this process, we're going to be a completely different individual. We're going to be an improved version of ourselves. We're going to be the best version that we can forge ourselves into being in the amount of time that we have allotted. So that's the first thing. The second one regarding money, okay? You need to have a certain amount of income and a certain amount of material wealth in place before you start trying to pursue a long-term relationship. Now, some people argue, well, yeah, but you can get married and then you can build it together. And yes, that can work, but your probability of accomplishing that without the goals of personal identity and other life skills that go with that in place is very low. Statistically, it's not going to happen for you. Can it happen? Yes. You might as well go play the lottery if you're going to do that. Just even finding a woman, the quality of women on the street these days, your average woman in the West is degenerate, she's narcissistic, she's egotistical, she's underdeveloped at life in general, she has low situational awareness, low worldview awareness, she's just not a very good high quality person. So you don't want that in your life. You don't want that to be the mother of your children. So statistically, if you just walk out there and start dating, you are going to get railroaded later on in the courts or just by life logistics in general. And any idea that you're going to build something with somebody, straight delusion. So to accomplish your goals, this personal identity and financial goals, you're going to do some things. We're going to start building skills. And the first set of skills would be combat sports. So you're going to go and start jiu-jitsu and pursue jiu-jitsu, judo, and boxing. And if you achieve some level of competency with those, all three of those, you will be a very formidable man. And the point of that is not so that you can walk around bullying people. The point is, other formidable men who may pose a threat to you in the future when you're trying to take care of your family will look at you and they'll immediately realize that you're a threat. Criminals in the world, they don't want to deal with you like that. They're like lions on the savannah. You know, they want to eat the weak antelope. They don't want to fight. So you're going to get into combat sports. The other part of this with combat sports is it really helps you build your personal identity. So it's going to help you get your ego in check. It's going to help you figure out how to make decisions under stress. You're going to figure out how to manage your emotions under stress. And these are very important aspects of being a man, which are woefully underdeveloped in modern and in current society in the West. Most men can't manage their emotions. They walk around like little princesses. And, you know, most men their egos are not in check. They have this massive ego and nothing to go with it. It's like inverted from what it should be. You should have a lot of things to go with it and not a very big ego, but they're so myopic in their lives, they don't even realize that they have a big ego. But, you know, go to jiu-jitsu gym and you'll start figuring this stuff out pretty quick. So I recommend combat sports. Next one is medical training. So most men don't have the faintest idea of how to respond to a medical emergency. And I'm not talking about going to the Blue Cross CPR class. That's not medical training. I'm talking about going and getting an MTB and putting in some time in the ER or something like that, some equivalent thereof. And those EMTB courses are taught all across the country. I'm speaking about the United States, and I'm sure they're the same in other countries, similar programs. So go to your jiu-jitsu and judo and boxing, go get your MTB, and then figure out what you're going to do for money. So that's going to be different for every person, but you can get on YouTube, you can find a million different hustles that you can start part-time or for free and start getting it done and start building multiple income streams. In my case, I have used MGTOW several times in my life to level up, and I've made a lot of mistakes. So I didn't have a video like this, and I didn't have anybody to tell me. I was just going at it alone, and it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that if you take some time off, you can improve yourself. So I would work, and then I would take some time to go skill build, and I would work and skill build and work and skill build. And I used adventure sports, so whitewater kayaking and technical climbing in the mountains and sailing on the oceans and things like that, to build my abilities to manage stress and emotion and make decisions under stress, under difficult situations, to be self-reliant and to keep my ego in check. And later I discovered combat sports, and then it was like a light bulb went off, like, oh, okay, well, you can progress much faster at those things in combat sports than you can in adventure sports. So I would recommend that at least you start with combat sports. And I'm not talking about going there once a week on Fridays after work. I'm talking about 4 or 5 sessions every week, and this becomes a part of a life. Like every day you're going to the mat and putting in some time. That's the only way you're really going to get the benefit out of this. So another mistake I made, I didn't establish multiple income streams. I focused on my career. I had a very successful career. Technically I still have it. I could still go back and do it, but it lulled me to sleep because my career provided a solid 6-figure income, and it was easy to come in and out of the field and make it work for my lifestyle. But if I could go back, I certainly wouldn't do that. I would be building businesses. That's what I would be. I'd be building businesses through side hustles, the good old-fashioned way that people have done it for 100 years in this country to, achieve the American dream. And I still haven't succeeded in doing that because I've been too focused on other things in my life, personal relationships, family, and my career. And I can tell you, if I could go back, or if I go and do this again, in my next MGTOW session, I will definitely be focused on multiple income streams and, building more of a material wealth. So another aspect to that is material wealth. I never did it. I never bought a house. I never invested in anything, in any real estate of any kind, stuff like that. And so I have been unprepared to start a family because I didn't understand, and I didn't have the guidance in my life to understand that this is what needs to happen and this is how it needs to work. So I hope this gives you some ideas. I hope that, you're able to understand the difference between going MGTOW for the purposes of playing video games. And I've given you some ideas about going MGTOW with the intent of building yourself into an actual man that can do man stuff, like build a family and provide for a family. And stop being a loser, because that's what most men are in the West. I walk around, just simple things like situational awareness. I look around and nobody's paying attention to anything. Every man that you come across is a potential threat. You need to be evaluating every single, at a subconscious level, automatically. Who can handle themselves? Who has what in their hands? Where are the hands? Who looks like a possible serious threat? Because when you have a kid, and you have kids, and you have a wife and stuff like that running around you, you're going to have to be distracted by them. But it still needs to be something. It's one of your tasks that you're doing. You're constantly monitoring your surroundings for threats. That's your job. You're the security for that family, the primary security for that family. So if you do not do these things with intention, they won't happen. And if you don't do them at all in your life, you're selling yourself short. You'll never achieve what you could be. You'll never be the warrior king that you should be. Every man should achieve, in my opinion, you should strive to be a benevolent warrior king. That's what you want to be. And MGTOW this is your time to forge yourself into being a warrior. And then the next step is to start building your kingdom and become a king. So go be a warrior, go build yourself, go forge yourself, go define for yourself who you are, and build the skills on top of that to go out there and start building a kingdom.